Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and later we'll be showing you how to install these Titan Chain Twist Link Snow Tire Chains on our 2022 Toyota 4Runner. These are going to be installed on our rear axle per our owner's manual, and they're going to be on our tire size 265/70 R17. While these chains are designed to fit a range of different tire sizes, I always advise plugging your vehicle information, including that tire size, to our fit guide to make sure that you're getting the right kit for you. But let's get started. Now these are going to be a ladder pattern style chain. What that means is the links are going to go in parallel lines to one another across our tire in this ladder shape. It's going to result in a somewhat bumpier ride quality, but give us much better traction on stops and starts. Your other option for tire chains are a diamond pattern. Those tend to be a bit more premium tire chains, a bit higher price, and those will give you smoother rides and better traction when you're making turns. Generally, that is the style I suggest going towards because they are a bit nicer, but if you find yourself mostly driving on straightaways, then this can get the job done really well too. Looking in a bit closer at each individual link though, we can see we've got this twist link shape. That's not going to be as aggressive a shape as something like a square link chain, and it means it's not going to perform as well in icy conditions because you don't have those hard edges to break up that ice. But if you find yourself mostly driving around in deeper snow without icy conditions, then this is more than enough to get you that traction you need, especially because these link sizes are still pretty big, and by twisting them, we don't have as tall a profile, but it still gives us the traction necessary to get us out of those tricky situations. And this is going to be a more manual style chain too, which means there's no real tensioning device built in. Even so, I'm actually really pleased with the fit we're getting here. Obviously there's some slack, but not as much as I might expect. When you're hooking it up, they give you this small lever arm at the bottom that you feed through a link and fold back on itself to draw some of that slack out, but it only does so much, which is why we really recommend using something like a rubber tensioner. You can find these on our website. They are sold separately, but it's going to draw all that extra slack in the chain that you see here out and ensure a more constant, tight fit on the tire, keeping you a lot more safe going down the road. Your overall construction here isn't as nice. It's a low carbon steel, which is a lot more corrosion resistant than some type of alloy steel. Again, as you go into the more premium chains, that's the material you tend to start seeing. So if you plan on using these really frequently for multiple seasons, I'd advise upgrading to one of those nicer chains that have the better material. But if you use these pretty infrequently, and it's more so kept in your car for emergencies and you don't expect those emergencies to happen very frequently, then it gets the job done. And as long as you take good care of them and make sure that you let them dry off before storing them back in their bag, it can help prolong the life. But that bag they're included with isn't super high quality, so if you are taking them in and out, you might notice that over time this canvas fabric material starts to rip. You might consider investing in a small plastic tote to keep in your car. That way it's a bit more rigid and it keeps the chains contained a bit better and doesn't let them spill out over the back of your 4Runner. But overall, these aren't going to be a bad set of chains. They certainly get the job done, but they're not the easiest to use. One of the things you'll see in our install is that you have to climb underneath the vehicle and make a connection on the back of the tire, which luckily with the 4Runner, you've got a fair amount of room to do that. It's just not going to be very comfortable if you find yourself on the side of the road having to install these. So again, if you find yourself installing chains with any degree of frequency where it's a regular thing, I'd strongly advise looking into something like Titan Chain's assisted tensioning tire chains. It will be a fair bit more expensive than what you see here, but it's a much more premium option. It's way easier to install, doesn't require you to get underneath the vehicle at all, and you get a better quality metal that's actually used to build the chains, so you can expect it to last longer too. But if you just need something simple to get the job done on occasion and you're not really worried about icy conditions, then follow along and we'll show you how we got these installed. To begin our install, we're going to lay the chain out and make sure that nothing's tangled up and we don't have any broken or damaged links. With these, we want to make sure they're also in the proper orientation. The way we're going to install these is by draping them over the top of the tire So we want to look to the outer edges of the chain where we've got these end links that connect to the outer chain. And right now we've got this more hooked side facing up, and there's this smoother side facing down to the ground. That's the side that's going to be touching our tire. We also want to look at the end with this lever arm. We want that to be facing the outer edge of our tire so that it's accessible whenever we're going to hook up the chain. With all that in mind though, we can step up, grab the chain by the middle, and carefully drape it over our tire, making sure to watch out for the wheel and the painted surfaces of the wheel well around it. When we drape this over, we just want to make sure that it's even front to back as well as side to side. And when we're happy with how that's fitting, we can go around to the back and make our first connection. That connection underneath is going to be this hook and a series of free links on the other side closest to the camera here. There will be a link that gives us an ideal fit for our tire size. I'm going to start with that second one in, and we'll go around front and make our second connection. But this is why I advise doing this in your driveway once or twice before you actually get out on the road, so that you can figure out which one of these links fits your tire size best before you're in that emergency situation. Around front, that connection will look a little bit different because we've got that lever arm we saw in the very first step when we laid our chain out. Same thing here though, we're going to pick a link that we think is going to fit the best. I'm going to go a little further in on this one just based off how it's fitting around right now. Feed it through, fold it back, and hook it to the extra link at the back right there. And right now, that's giving us actually a pretty good fit. But there's still a bit of slack to be taken care of. And that's where we recommend using something like a rubber tensioner. Now this isn't included in your kit, but we strongly advise using these. And you can find them down in the related parts section on the product page. But what this is going to do is just draw that extra slack out, and we're going to install this in a star-shaped pattern, trying to distribute those arms equally around the chain with the hooks facing away from the tire. And right there you can see all these points where it's pulling in. It's giving us a much better fit. And at this point, we're ready to install the other side and drive over them a few times, get the tires rotating, and come out and check on them. Because as we drive, things may settle. The tensioner will help keep things tight, but we might need to go back and just change which link we've fed that arm through and tighten things up a little bit more once we're actually moving. Once you've done that and you've got the final fit, you're ready to hit the road. But that'll do it for our look at and installation of these Titan Chain Twist Link Snow Tire Chains on our 2022 Toyota 4Runner. My name's Aiden, and thank you for watching.